A short introduction to the Kleefstra syndrome community, so that you will see that this is really a global community. I'm going to start with my personal story, then tell you about the nonprofit NGO IDEFINE Europe. Then I'm going to present you the Kleefstra syndrome global community, and I will finish off with the Kleefstra syndrome worldwide map. So why I'm so active in this community, not only in this community, but everywhere in relation to rare diseases. So this is my daughter, Ida. She is now 7 years old. When she was 3 years old, we got the diagnosis that she has Kleefstra syndrome. So when receiving this diagnosis, I first started really to look for more information. So I wanted to gain more knowledge about this disease, but also about developments in this field, about research, about data, practically about everything what could be findable in that time. So that was about 3-4 years ago. And I also wanted to gain more knowledge. So I was also interested generally in rare diseases, what's happening in this landscape. And I have to say that during this process, I somehow started to be a patient advocate. So it was like a natural process for me. And another thing that I have to mention here is also my professional background. So I'm working at a public research institute here in Ljubljana, at the Jožef Stefan Institute, and I'm working on research projects in relation to data and technology. So, looking for applications, solutions to problems. And I think that all of these backgrounds and situations somehow clashed all together, and that's why I decided to found a nonprofit NGO. So named IDEFINE Europe, Foundation for the Advanced Treatment of Rare Genetic Diseases. This was formally established last year in May. And in this nonprofit NGO, we are focusing mainly on 4 streams. The first one is research on rare diseases with highlighting data and new technologies. Then patient advocacy and raising awareness of rare diseases. So we don't want to be only focused on Kleefstra syndrome. So yes, of course, this is my priority, but we want to advocate and raise awareness also about other rare diseases, particularly about rare neurodevelopmental diseases. So I think that this is a group of rare diseases that's a little bit under-researched and neglected, I would say. So we want to raise this knowledge about these diseases. And the third focus is building partnerships, as I think that only together we are strong, so like we are already showing today. And the fourth pillar is very important, is this knowledge transfer to empower patients, clinicians, researchers. And here we have different learning and training activities. So in relation to IDEFINE Europe, we are a member of EURORDIS. This is an umbrella organization for rare disease in Europe. And we are also involved in the European reference networks. So for all online that are not informed about this European system, so the European Commission launched the European reference networks. I think that it was in 2017. And this is a network for rare and complex diseases. And our disease and all the other rare neurodevelopmental disorders fall into ERN Ithaca. And I'm very proud to be one of the EPACs. So I'm a member of the European Patient Advocacy Group. And I'm not the only one. Also Ines Ulibari from the Kleefstra Association Spain, who is also here today, she's also one of the EPACs. So Kleefstra syndrome is very strong advocated there. And I'm also happy to say that we have very good collaboration with GenIDA. So GenIDA it's collecting patient-reported data, and it's managed from IGBMC in France. You will hear a lot about this in the later talks. And I just want to point out already the things that Titske already shared, the multidisciplinarity, how it's important, but also the fact that we are, in the recent years, we hear a lot about this patient-centered focus. So in healthcare, in health research, and I think that this is really the way forward, how to get it done. And patient organizations are here very important, so we have to get connected and work together. So the Kleefstra syndrome global community. I can say that this community is very large and very diverse, which is great. And we have the European associations, then we have the Kleefstra syndrome community in the US, managed from iDefine. Then we have the Kleefstra community in Australia, in Canada, and also in South America. And looking a little bit deeper to Europe, we see a lot of small associations, organizations, charities. So Kleefstra syndrome France, Kleefstra syndrome Italy, Spain, UK, a German-speaking group. This is a community of parents from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Kleefstra syndrome point in Greece. Kleefstra community in Netherlands, managed from Zeltsamen, Kleefstra syndrome community in Hungary, in Poland, and iDefine Europe is acting as the Kleefstra syndrome contact point for Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia. And in Europe, it's in fact a little bit difficult because we have so many countries with different languages, different health systems, different educational settings, different problems, different questions. So it's really needed to have these national associations and organizations. It would be very hard to have only one advocacy organization to answer all of these diverse questions. And, but we managed to start collaborating with each other. And we built this informal Kleefstra Syndrome Europe Alliance that can act as a coordination hub for all of these European associations and organizations. And I want just to conclude with this Kleefstra Syndrome Worldwide Map. So this is an initiative that was launched from iDefine from the US, but all patient organizations around the globe helped to reach the number that we now have. So there are almost 600 Kleefstra syndrome individuals on this map. So we started this not even a year ago. So we think that this is already a huge effort. And I want to reach out to patient organizations and parents again, also clinicians, why this is so important. Because so there's no number about the prevalence of Kleefstra syndrome. So this could be a good tool to also set this prevalence number. So this is all regarding my quick intro. And now I will leave the floor to Titske.